So, just doing a random live. See how many people join. So I've got a bit of spare time in my office. Don't finish about another half an hour, so I thought I'd quickly do a live. I didn't give anybody a heads up that I was actually doing this, but see how many people join. Got one person in at the minute. Tom Herman, how we doing? So I've just doing a bit of a random live. Durston Kunst, how we doing? But I've just got a bit of spare time in my office, just finishing off here at work. I just thought I would do a quick random live. Yeah, like I say, I've got about 30 minutes left before I pack up. Everyone's in the gym. Mickey Natras, how you doing? Charlie Manson, how's everyone doing? Send us drop us an email, Tom, and we can sort something out, definitely. Watchdog Legion, Louise Copeland, KK, Bopper, Lindsay. How's everyone doing? So I was just going to talk a little bit about the sentencing, because I've done a video a couple of weeks back about Connor Gibson, Scotland's most hated inmate, and he's actually just been sentenced for the murder of his sister, and he got 22 years. And that other creep that come across our body and done things with her only got 9 years, which was absolutely ridiculous. I'm not sure if any of you've seen it. Yeah, Boxer, how we doing? Heinz Old Bean, Richard Brown, ever seen Slaney in action? I've never actually seen him in action. I've seen him in the gym and all, I've sported him that, but I've never actually seen him on. I've seen him lose his head before. Yeah, but I've never seen him going on. Ben Parker. Yeah, definitely not, mate. It's absolutely horrendous. 22 years. I thought he would have at least getting maybe to 35, doing that to his own sister. Daniel Cheadle up. Joe, Alex and Danny, thanks for watching, lads. Hope you're all keeping well. Richard Brown, Lion King, how we doing? But again, as you'll have seen on one of my other videos, I want to say a massive thanks to all my subscribers. I reached 50,000 just at the weekend on Sunday. I'm actually, since then, I've actually done about another 600 subscribers just in another day. So we're doing well, but I'll just remind you, Sonny, I am still at work, so I do, if I have to nip away and serve someone at the counter, if I go off screen, don't worry, I'll be back. But Lost Minds, how we doing? Charlie Manson, Jamie Scully, Paul Bloxham, how we doing, lads? But if you can hit that like button as well, there's only 11 likes, there's 60 of you in the live. Get that algorithm going up, people, if you don't mind, thank you. KK. Yeah, like I say, 50,000 subscribers. My aim was to get that by Christmas, because I think only a few months back I was at 25,000, and my goal was to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I've actually done it with another 4 months to go, so by the end of the year should be into the 60,000s easy. But Bill Court, love your channel, thanks mate. Daniel, no bother mate, not a bother. Anyone wants any shout outs, let us know. Yeah, it's not a bother. But also, because you'll have already seen me Patreon membership that I've got, which helps towards the channel. I've got a private group, which is a Discord group, which you get access to that. And there's different membership levels, but everyone on that membership gets a shout out and there's daily interaction. But if you go back and have a look on the previous video, if you haven't already seen it, you can see exactly what's in that group. Kristen Duncan, you're awesome, thank you very much. Mr. Mac, cheers lad, thank you. Nigel Dunn, evening bro, how you doing? Jim, also known as Womble. No, I know a lad up here called Womble. Not a bad name, eh? Sparky, alright lad. Richard Brown says, what was the cop killer Bieber like? He was actually, when I first met him, because he was on G-Wing, I was on F-Wing, but we used to get the gym together. When we went to the gym together, and I was standing next to him, talking to him, I looked at him, and you see, like, the eyes on me, your pupils are small in the middle, you've got your colouring. His were just totally black. His eyes were black. He just looked like an absolute lunatic. Well, he was a lunatic for what he done when he killed that copper on a Boxing Day. The cop was on his hands and knees pleading, and he still put one in his head whilst he was on the floor, which was uncalled for. And it doesn't matter what people think about coppers. If there's one on his hands and knees pleading, like, I think the only reason he done that was because he wanted in America and he wanted to obviously get sentenced, do his jail in this country rather than in America, which, looking at the American prisons, you probably would prefer to do prison in England rather than America. Dave Diviner, thanks for recommending Time to Make Great Miniseries. Brilliant. Jojo, yo, what's happening? Keith Watson, if I miss anyone's name, just comment again, because the comments are flying up. Trevor Darlington, did you ever get near Huntley or Belfield? Actually did get near Huntley at one point, and I spoke about it on the HMP Franklin documentary, because what happens, he was in the healthcare at the time, and the healthcare was mainly for people like him down there, but you had to get escorted everywhere in the prison, obviously with it being a high security prison. And when you were going through different sections of the prison, the screws used to have to press the bell and radio on the intercom and speak with the officers on the main control gate, who would open the gate and let you through. And this screw this day, there was 4 of us on our way down to healthcare, and this one day he buzzed through to get clearance. The gate opened and Huntley was at the bottom of the corridor. All the lads went pegging it down the corridor towards him, but there was a screw on the other side of the gate who let him in. So he actually, luckily for him, he got on the other side of the gate before some of the lads got a hold of him, because the lads that I was down there with, down healthcare, some Scousers and Manx, were doing 30-year life sentences. So if they'd actually gotten a hold of Huntley at that point, then it would have been game over for him. Did you see the last comment, bro? If not, scroll back. Which one was that? Scottish justice lets off the hook with very, very light sentences. I'm from Scotland. Could tell you a few stories. I can mind your interview with 23. I've done the interview with Josh from 23, Lockdown 23 and 1. But I've got a lad, I'm doing a podcast tomorrow night with a lad from Postle Park up in Glasgow. So that'll be getting released. I'll get it edited and get it up and running maybe in the next week or two. Hopefully he's got some interesting stories. He was in Parliament YUI, which is a very notorious young offender prison up in Scotland. Toffee Blue, hope you get 100k soon, hopefully. I'm going to keep going. Like I say, I've hit that 50k, 50,000 subscriber milestone in record time, so I can't see why not in another year, another 100,000 subscribers. Nigel Dunn saw Huntley in Woodhill Prison when he first got caught. He was on way to court. Yeah, he's still in Franklin, him, and he's at top of the list for the lads in prison, because obviously normal location lads getting a hold of someone like him, even because some of them are never getting out, and if they get a hold of someone like him, then you can only imagine what will happen. Boogie Build popping in, sending great vibes to you all, thank you. Keith Watson, do you think someone who's murders should be doing life? Obviously, if someone's done 2 murders, then, especially if they've done one, come out, done another one, then the chances are up then, aren't there? It's obviously life without parole from that moment on, because I met a couple of them I was inside with, Gary Vinter, who I've mentioned before, from Middlesbrough. He's back in doing life without parole. He's actually getting another 2 or 3 life sentences whilst in prison for trying to kill other prisoners. Michael Carroll, congratulations, thank you very much. Hopefully Huntley gets the Richard Huckle treatment. I probably will at some point throughout his sentence, because like I say, even though it doesn't matter how long ago it was, his name is still at the top of the list for people inside who want to get at, because him, the likes of Belfield, all them type of people, Roy Whiting, the ones that I've heard, little kids, they're top of the list for other inmates to get a hold of, and they will at some point. Most of them have already been got at, but they will again get at again, because, like I say, people, the mad people in prison, well, they're all mad, but the mad ones on general population want that right, bragging rights, to say they were the ones that got a hold of him, got a hold of Huntley, got a hold of Belfield, got a hold of that Roy Whiting, like that Gary Vinter. He got a hold of Roy Whiting down in Wakefield prison, and he stabbed his eye out with a toilet brush, and he did try and throttle him, try to kill him, but he obviously he didn't succeed, and Roy Whiting just came away with where he lost an eye, but he was actually trying to take him out the game completely. Kelly, I'm not surprised Huntley is top of the list. Yes, I mean, everyone will remember it, but for me as well, I think I was a teenager at the time when that happened, and it has, even though you're not related or anything like that, something like that, like you see in the news and you've heard about, it has a massive effect on the whole nation. Like little kids like that, it's just beyond belief. But what I was talking about at the beginning of this, the ones that have just joined the live, that Connor Gibson from up in Scotland, that was up for killing his own sister and taking her down to the woods. He got lifed off yesterday with a recommendation of 22 years. On that other fella, Stephen Corrigan, who come across her body the next day and didn't report it to the police and just chucked her, done something to her and hit her body in the bushes. He got away with a 9-year sentence. So I'm not sure up in Scotland, Boxer, if you're still on the live, you can maybe verify this. I think if you get over 4 years, you've got to do, is it 2/3 of your sentence, something like that? Up in Scotland, I think you've got to do the majority of your sentence. So out of that 9 years, I'm not sure what he will, what he'll serve. Jamie Scully, Lucy Leppy to be next target. Yes, well, I'm not sure, but I think Lucy Leppy's actually now been transferred to HMP Low Newton, and her life is going to be hell. It's going to be the same as Huntley. She's going to be protected for the rest of her sentence. Even though in them women's prisons there isn't protection as such, like there is in the men's jails, like different wings, like VP wings, she will be watching her back 24/7, and she will get at some point throughout her sentence, because again, the lasses in them prisons, the ones that are in for maybe say like drug offences, different things like that, that aren't in the same category as the likes of Lucy, them lasses will be wanting to get at her, so they get them bragging rights. So even when they come out, they'll be going to the press, they'll be going, everything will be saying, I'm the one that got Lucy in prison. So she will be got at some point. She'll be the #1 target in the women's prisons. But like I was saying before, I'm in the office still at work here. I've got about another 10 minutes left. But if you can hear the music in the background, that's just the gym music. So down here in the English prisons, I think, or it was, if you got a 9-year sentence, you would do 4.5. But I think anything over 4 years now, or anything that's for violence, you've got to do 2/3. You can hear the weights, probably hear all the lads banging the weights about in the background, yeah. But again, like I was saying about that, the Scottish prison system, I've got a lad coming on tomorrow. Well, he's not coming on live, but I'm going to be doing a podcast with him, and I'll be getting that released in maybe the next couple of weeks. But I've also got another one I'm going to try and get up on Wednesday. I've done a podcast with a fella called Ray. He served 36 years in prison for a murder that he didn't commit. And it's about an hour and 45 minutes, the podcast, but I've still yet to upload it onto YouTube and get it verified, get it monetized and everything else, so that hopefully I'll get everything up and running for Sunday, maybe Sunday night. But I've also got another podcast I'm doing on Saturday, so I'm doing quite a few now, because over the last 6 weeks with this kids' school holidays, I've been non-stop, obviously, with work in the spare time, occupying the kids. So now that the kids are back to school tomorrow, I've got plenty of time to get more content out, get more podcasts done, and get a load of more stuff up and running. Like I've got a list of about 20 videos backlog that I need to get up. Richard Brown, what was Gary Vinter like? At first, Gary was quite quiet when he first came on the wing, and he got his when he was doing life, we got his life sentence, life without parole. He was quite quiet, but then once he got settled, got to know people, he then turned into a bully, intimidating people, trying to rule people on the wing, and he was using his size and his sentence to his advantage, and he was taking liberties on a lot of people. Ray Edwards, you ever been in Winston Green? No, I've never been in there, mate. So Thug off says, Ricky, when you took the right turn at your crossroads, you're pointing the way to others. You've done your time and more. Well done. Yeah, thank you very much, mate. Like I say, what I set this YouTube up for initially was to advertise me book and let people know all about me book. Obviously go through everything that was in me book, but the more I started doing content, and when I started mentioning the prison stuff, everyone was wanting to see the prison stuff. So that was the reason why the channels went the way it was, because when I was not advertising my book, but when I was sharing things out of my book and demonstrations and doing little bits of talks about my book, the views weren't that much. But once I started talking about the prison side of it, then the views have started going crazy, and that's why my channel has actually ended up the way it did. Because when I first started off, it was actually called Behind the Bars Ruthless Fitness, named after my book. Then obviously the more it went on and progressed, that's why I changed the title to Behind the Bars TV. But again, Emma Clark says, hi Ricky. Hi Emma, how are you doing? Charlie Manson, I used to deal with the Glasgow Blue Stars back in the 80s. Met Blink McDonald a few times. Oh yeah, Blink. He seems like he's sorted himself out now. I've watched a couple of his podcasts. I've watched some of his stuff that he puts on. He seems like a decent fella. He's turned his life round. So XTT says, who's most notorious in Franklin these days? See you later, lads. Cheers. The most notorious in Franklin these days. The most notorious, as in the most hated and the most infamous, is probably there's loads of them at the minute, but the likes of Huntley, all the worst ones are there at the minute. They used to put them down Wakefield, but they're actually in Franklin at the minute. So you've got the likes of Levi Belfield, Huntley, Wayne Cousins, I think David Carrick's there as well, the two bent coppers, or the two monsters you may call them. Who else? Oh, there's another one I've done. He's doing the whole life tariff. I've done a video on him and I can't remember his name. But he's in the loads of notorious wrong'uns are all in Franklin now. Great England, noticed Channel 5 mucked stuff up last night with a video release. Which video? I'm not sure which video was that. Which one was that? There's been a few on Channel 5 lately. Kevin Davies lives 20 minutes from Wakefield Prison. Richard Brown, was Slaney okay to chat with, or was he really approachable? Not approachable. Well, it depends. It depended on what type of person you were, who you were associated with, and whether you had a background check, so to speak, whether people vouch for you, because he was the type of fella that he wouldn't acknowledge he was antisocial, but if he knew you, or if he knew your friend and then you come into the scene, or you were training next to them, then he would talk with you, but not very much, so he wasn't approachable. But I've told this story before. One of the lads that I was training with, I told on one of my earlier videos. We were training in the gym. Warren was with his pal. There was about 4 of us training away, and my other pal, who's called Ricky Norton, from up this way as well, who was doing IPP. We're in the gym together, and he farted, and it stunk the gym out, and he thought it was funny, so having himself a little chuckle. But unbeknown to him, behind him, Warren Slaney's looking at him and saying, does he think this is fucking funny? And he was actually going to chin him because he'd farted and he was laughing over it. So that was the type of situations that you had to, well, you encountered in Franklin in them high security prisons. Like, you could have literally get your life took away for farting in the gym and laughing. But we laugh about that now when I've spoke with Ricky since. He laughs about it now, but when he realised at the time that Warren Slaney was going to set about him or smash his head in with a dumbbell because he'd farted, stunk the gym out and thought it was funny, which it's funny now looking back, but it wasn't funny at the time if he actually turned on him for it. But people, I'm approaching closing time here in the gym. I've got another couple of minutes. If there's any more questions, fire them out. I'll see if I can get them answered for you now. Gary England says, is it back to normal now? I'm assuming you're on about... Oh, right, no, we must be on about the video. Mario Madness, we New York area people. I can imagine you do. Yeah. So have you been inside before in New York? I'd imagine Mario Madness. Mad Mario. But I can imagine them prisons over there are a lot more dangerous than what they are over here. There was a couple of lads in Franklin prison, a high security prison. There was a big black lad. Can't remember his name. I think he was from New York doing time over here. And he was telling us what the prisons were like over there. Sparky says, where's your gym? Ricky, it's up in Stanley, mate, where I live. Richard Brown, he says, what was Colin Gunn like? Colin Gunn was actually one of the most approachable prisoners. He was approachable. He spoke with people, obviously, if he knew you, or if you knew your friends, or if you, like I mentioned, like a background check, he knew you were all right, and you knew you were from a decent group or whatever in the prison, then he would talk with you. Same with his brother Dave, but they were approachable fellas. They were witty. They were always making people laugh. Always having a laugh with people. Always having a laugh with people, yeah. But he was a decent enough fella to be in prison with. He didn't bother anybody, and he got on with everybody. He never had any beef in there. Boxer Carson, yeah, Scottish and England sentences are different. Yeah, they're totally different. Right, people, I'm going to have to wrap up now because it's closing up time in the gym. But I will pop these random lives on every now and again when I get a bit spare time. Like I've mentioned, I'll be uploading more content. I've got podcasts coming. If you want to join me Patreon, the links in the description, or the links in the description of the other videos. If you want us to do any videos, drop it in the comments. I've got a load of content coming up. I'm also going to be doing something hopefully this week on HMP Berwyn, the Welsh prisons, because there's a load of madness going on in there at the minute, and I've been reading up on it. They sent a lot of Scousers and Manx down there, and they seem to be ricking with each other, but I've just read up on it. HMP Berwyn has had the most screws having an affair with prisoners. So there's been about 20 in the past year, I think, something like that I read. But I'm going to leave it there for now, people. Hope everyone's well. I'll be on again soon, next time I get a bit of free time. Take care, everyone. Good night.